All right, so I think we can start, and then, but let me check my heart rate. It just went up a bit. You can see it here. Okay. I have a heart rate detector here, just in case. Okay. Whoa, yeah. Okay. That's a bit high, I guess, due to preparation for heart race. All right. I think we can start then. So, things in PWA era. So we had a very nice introduction and deep dive into the PWA in the previous session with my friend. So I hope you attend the previous one because at least now you know what I'm talking about. But this talk is mostly about hardwares and connecting hardwares to the PWA or web. So, all right. Briefly about me, my name is Majid. I'm flying from Oslo. We had the snow yesterday, and it's snowing right now, apparently. And I am a software engineer, a passionate developer just like you. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I wrote a book. I am very active in community organizing different meetups, conferences. And apart from that, I'm also speaking in conferences. So, today's talk goal is to show you how we can go beyond the web, like connect different things, Internet of Things, to the web. And I also tried to simplify it as much as possible, so it is going to be very easy to understand what I'm going to present. So, what we are going to explore today is, of course, progressive web apps and Internet of Things, and three main different APIs in the browsers: Web Bluetooth, Web USB, and Web NFC. So, as you probably have heard from the previous session, so PWA is here to give our user better user experience, right? Because they are reliable, they are fast, and they are engaging. In fact, they have a lot of, like many core concepts in PWA. You have responsiveness, your app should work regardless of browser, and it should progressively enhance for your user. So sounds good. And they're also secure. This is also good. So we can create a PWA, like a web application, and we can reuse it on many different platforms. So one of the demos today is a web application, a progressive web app that can connect to the gateway, an IoT gateway here, and then I can control some devices, like these light bulbs. And thanks to PWA, thanks to Service Worker and Web App Manifest, I could install it on my screen, like as a native app, and it works without having any internet. And in fact, I don't have an internet right now when I'm presenting. Everything is offline. So, we already have many APIs in the browser. And with Project Fugu, if you haven't heard about it, it's a project from different companies, especially Google, that they are bringing more APIs to the browser and makes it more and more interesting to work with web. APIs such as serial or local font access or app icon badging, which native apps have. So these are interesting things that is coming to web. And by next year, according to the statistic, there will be over 26 billion connected devices to internet, which makes it so interesting to work with them. We are actually surrounded with these devices. If you look at yourself right now, you have some of these devices in your hand probably, and at your home, you're controlling different things. So, and there are multiple efforts from different vendors that they're pushing very hard different APIs for IoT to bring them to the web with Web of Things. And one of the most significant efforts is Mozilla Web Things. So technically with Mozilla Web Things, you can create your own gateway, IoT gateway, which I'm going to demonstrate it today. And you're going to have a web application, a PWA, and you can control your devices. We're going to go through this very quickly. And by the way, this light bulb is turning on and off because the motion detector is detecting someone is moving. So please don't move that much. All right. Web Bluetooth. Let's go through it quickly. When I'm talking about Bluetooth, I'm talking about Bluetooth Smart. So don't mix it up with the classic Bluetooth API. So we're not going to talking about that. That sucks. We're going to talk about Bluetooth Low Energy, Bluetooth 4, 5, BLE. These are the names for Bluetooth Smart. So in fact, we're going to have a central device. Let's be on the same page. And then we're going to have a peripheral. So, and one central device could communicate with multiple peripherals, right? And when I'm talking about BLE or Bluetooth Smart, I'm talking about a very specific profile called GATT, or Generic Attribute Profile. In GATT, we have different terms. We have, instead of central, we have client, and then we're going to have server. So when I'm saying server, I mean these peripherals. So let's have a look at the hierarchy. We have a server, and that server is going to have multiple services, and multiple services, they all going to have multiple characteristics, and then you're going to have properties and values. So there are some facts here, is that the services and characters actually are identified by 16 or 128-bit UUIDs, and values are just an array of bytes. All right, we get to it. Let's see some code. But before that, make sure, after you get the presentation, make sure you go to the specification and read a little bit about it so you get familiarized with the whole spec. One important fact is that you cannot get access to any Bluetooth devices unless user actually explicitly click or tap on something. So user gesture or user interaction is required, as well as HTTPS or secure origin. That is actually a core concept of, or one of the main important part of the PWA already. So once your user click, now you are able to request for the device, and that is quite easy. All the APIs are promise-based, so we start from there. So in Navigator, you're going to have a Bluetooth API, and then you can request for a device with, of course, different options. As you saw for the first demo, and I think it's still working. Okay. All right, so I filter out the device with a name, because the name of the device is Polar something, and I just filter all the devices around me, because I can request for all the Bluetooth devices, but it's useless because there are a lot of Bluetooth devices around me. So I don't want to show all the devices to my user, right? So it's better to filter them down to only one that we want user see. And we're going to get, after that, you can connect to the GOT. And after that, you need to ask for a service. And then you need to ask for a characteristic. So the same hierarchy that I explained. And once you get the characteristic, like the heart rate, for instance, you can start start notification, and then listen to the change. So do something with the change. So in this case, for instance, I'm parsing the heart rate value, which is coming from the device. And that's why you see different numbers. So of course, you can get different characteristics for sure, like battery level or heart rate control point. You can also write to the Bluetooth devices if they allow. So these are the sample codes, how you can interact with these devices. You're going to have multiple options when it comes to filtering. So it's not only using a prefix or a name. You can use different options to filter out your devices. The narrower down your list to the device that user should see, the better. So it is up to you how to filter them out. You have already seen one demo, but let's see another demo. This is the one that we are going to explore today. When I say we go beyond the web, that is probably one of the best examples. I have a PWA app which is going to set up my gateway. How does this gateway work? The gateway needs to have a local network. So your app, your mobile or your computer, and the hardware, this gateway needs to have a local network. They need to be on the local network, right? So what you can see on the instruction is that, okay, of course, you can see this device. You can write the image on Raspberry Pi or whatever, and then you have a Wi-Fi connection in your Wi-Fi list, and then you can set up. But what if I want to actually set up everything via web? I don't want to tell my user, go to the Wi-Fi and blah, blah, and blah. I can easily, not easily, but I can say to my user, okay, go to this page, which is already created. That is a web application. And then connect via web Bluetooth, okay? And then in this gateway, there is a Bluetooth Wi-Fi manager, which is emitting all the Wi-Fi SSIDs, okay? Good, and I can get the list of Wi-Fi SSIDs on the web. So I'm going to connect to Wi-Fi. And then once I connect it to Wi-Fi, that means my gateway and my phone, they are on the same network. So the gateway is set up. Then I can go to the Web Things PWA application, which we go together, and then control the devices. Cool. Let's quickly see the videos for setting up the Wi-Fi. You see that this is a web application. It's deployed on Netlify. So, and then I have this Bluetooth. And then I can connect to the Bluetooth. And then in the second page, I can get all the Wi-Fis, and then the Wi-Fi password. This is all on the web. And once I connect it, that means my gateway is already set up to be controlled on the same network as my mobile. Okay. All right. So everything is fine. Now I'm ready to go to the app for controlling the devices. I have the video here, but we don't need to go through this video because I can demonstrate it right now. Oh, okay. All right, so here, okay, let me just clear all these. I'll tell you what it is. Now I'm going to open up the app. And of course, the app is going to, is it visible, by the way? Okay. So you see that this, unfortunately, I can show you because the smart switch, which is listed here, it's already under my foot. So, and the cable is not long enough to show you, but that is a smart plug, which is working via a Z-Wave protocol. So, and then I have this switch here connected to this extension, and then I have this light bulb, which is connected to the smart switch, and I have this motion detector. So it says no motion detected. Detected. All right, maybe. All right, let's do that. And I can explicitly actually turn on the switch, and then it's going to turn on this. This is all on PWA, no internet, nothing. Okay, then I turn it on, and it works. What if I just talk to this app, maybe? Okay. That was an turn off office switch. All right. It doesn't want to turn it off. Maybe, sorry. Yeah, you see it here. So it doesn't detect my voice. Sometimes it happens because maybe my accent of English is not that good, apparently. All right, so never mind. But, so the point is here, I have a PWA working offline with the gateway and the things here, motion detection, detector and light bulb and a smart plug, and I can control it via this app. I can also make some rules here. For instance, if a motion has been detected, so please notify me, for instance, or turn on the light bulb. Or when there is no motion in the room, turn off the light because I don't want to consume too much energy, for instance. Yeah, there is no motion detected, and then it just turned off. And one of the point here is to even send a push notification to user if something is happening, right? So you see here, I'm getting multiple messages once there is a detection or there is no detection in the room. And it says that something is happening, right? All right. Let's go to another demo. I still have my heart rate. It's okay. Let's check this Mio band. This is a gesture detection. What it means is that you can simply connect to this device, and then you can detect like your gesture, right, left, fist, or whatever. I already connected to via web because I wanted to demonstrate multiple platforms. So it's already connected, so I requested already, and then I can start doing something. So maybe if I gently says, like, by the way, this device is discontinued last year, and it's not in the market anymore, and it's not that reliable. And probably that's the reason they discontinued the product. But it was working before I come to the room. Let's, yes, I just had it in here, but I can maybe try on mobile too. Let's do that. If it's not turn off. Yeah. So I have the device. Let's pair. Hopefully. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. All right, but let's move on. One fact here about the gateway. We have a gateway, and you need to also, if you want to connect things with the different protocols, you need also these ZigBee or Z-Wave USB sticks like this one, which is here. All right, let's move on to the next API, WebUSB. WebUSB provides a way to safely expose actually device services to the web. And that is coming from the API page itself. And that means they're going to provide us like a familiar API as a web developer to produce a lot of things with USB devices. All right, so we can do many things, hot patching, rapidly prototyping, or we can create cross-platform JavaScript SDK for USB devices. That makes it so interesting. And of course, like WebUSB, there are multiple facts, and the thing is that user gesture always required when you are requesting for device, USB or Bluetooth. And let's have a look at the hierarchy. You have a device descriptor, which is a USB device, and then you're going to have and the device is going to have multiple config descriptor, right? And then you're going to have multiple interfaces. Like imagine a printer with a scanner. It has scanner and printer, multiple interfaces. And then you're going to have different endpoints. Once you have the endpoints, then you can start actually write or transferring data in and out. User gesture or user interaction required, as I said, like a click. And then it's pretty similar to WebUSB. You have a USB on Navigator. You can request and filter out your device, similar. And then once the device is there, requested, you can open the device, select the configuration, select the interface that you want, and then start transferring data in and out. Multiple options for filtering the device, as I already said. But how many types of transfer we have for transferring the data? We have 3 different types of transferring data. So we have interrupt. That means it's good for non-periodic and small device initiation, like maybe this printer. And the API is fairly simple. So once you have actually the endpoint ready, the only thing that you need to do is transferring out or in the data. So the control transfer, it's good for the devices that have multiple configuration, like joystick, for instance, like multiple devices, right? And then that's a bit more complex here. You have to set up your device, and then you need to transfer data with control transfer out and in this data. All right. And asynchronous, which is good for streaming data, like video or audio. And again, the API is fairly simple, so you can transfer data in and out to the devices. Where can I get some information about my device? There are multiple resources. You can go to the website of the device, the vendor, or you can find information online time to time. Also, the Chrome can also help you to find this information. If you go to Chrome device-log, then you can see the logs for the USB devices, and then you can find more details about the device. So let's have a look at a demo here. One demo that I have is this printer that works via web Bluetooth and USB. I'm not sure if anyone see, but I can connect via web USB and then print out something. I will hold this demo until after Web NFC, and then I will put this up, then everyone can see, because I need to disconnect some of my USBs already. So I will do that, and then I'll demonstrate. But I guarantee I will print something with this printer, even in Web NFC. Let's move on, and then I'll come back to that for Web Bluetooth. Web NFC. The thing that I'm telling you, you are the first one you're hearing that. Yes, because that happens last night. And Kenneth Christiansen, he's my friend, and he is author of Web NFC Spec. And he tweeted 2 days ago when I was in the airport and said, I'm very happy about it. And I said, okay, what's going on? I have a demo. And he says, okay, let's chat. And I chat, and I found out that the whole spec changed. Cool. And I had to sit and change all of my slides and the codes. That's why I'm telling you, you are the first one you're hearing that, because it's live since last night in Chrome Canary. So, what is the change? Web NFC, we are familiar with NFC, right? RFID, these tags, right? We have it everywhere with us. So, the change here is that right now the new standard as of 6th of November, or like you said, the current scope specification is focusing on NDEF. Okay, what is NDEF? That's a good question. Let's see what is NDEF. To be on the same page, we have NFC tag, like a passive devices, and then we have NFC peer, which are the devices are active, right? And then the NFC device, that means either NFC tag or NFC peer. So, NDEF is NFC data exchange format, which means it's a standard data format that actually you can exchange the information with the NFC device. So, and the data format contains messages, and messages contain records. Let's have a look at some code. But before that, remember, if you want to test it out, Chrome, Android, Chrome Canary, latest version, and experiment web platform feature and web NFC flags needs to be enabled, and also your mobile needs to have an NFC tag. All right, so if you want to push something to the tag, like this tag, for instance, then these are the options that you have, multiple options. So you have NDEF writer as a constructor, and then you also need a text encoder because you need to send bytes to this device. And then you have multiple record types. You have an array of records, and you have multiple record types. For instance, MIM, I can send an application JSON like this format to this tag, and then afterwards I can read it. All right. Or maybe you can write some URL or text or different formats. So, how can I read it? That is only a check to make sure these constructors are available already on the window. And if they are, let's move on. So the reader, you have NDEF reader. All right, cool. And once you have NDEF reader, you can set up, there is a reading event. Then you can set up your event callback here and then do what you want. For instance, in this case, I am checking if a record type is MIM, because I already pushed, and if the media type is application JSON, because that's the only thing it is important for my demo, for instance. And then I can decode the data and then parse it because it was JSON and do something with it, which you are going to see shortly. So, and once the setup, everything is done, then you can call scan on reader. Scan will stay there and then constantly listen to reading the tags for you. All right. Let's see the demo. What is the demo? I am going to demonstrate a web shop where typical scenario. I'm going to authenticate a cashier first with this tag, and then I can scan some product, and then at the end, I'll print via Web Bluetooth a receipt for my customer. So here is the device ready for reading the tags. That's my tag, the cashier tag. So okay. I have a write tag, and then it says, all right, you are authenticated. This is your ID. So now I know who is the cashier. And I have 3 products here. So let's scan the first one. All right. The second one. And the third one. Okay. So I scanned 3 products, and then I can connect to the printer. The printer that is also, I also told you it's working with Bluetooth, USB. It's also working with Bluetooth. So connect to the printer. If it's connected, okay, correctly, I'll see the print button, which is there. And then I print the receipt. You see that it's printing. Okay. So, I have time still, so let's go back to the web USB, and with the same printer, which I just print via web Bluetooth, I print out something via web USB. So, I will disconnect my probably before that. Let me turn off this. Okay, I'll disconnect my iPhone. And I'll connect the printer. So let's move on to the web USB. I have another demo also, which I could connect my Android phone via web Bluetooth, web USB, and then I can send a shell command or do something with this phone. So let's see if I have time, I can demonstrate that too. But the printer, okay, it's here. I'm gonna request the printer. I already filter out everything. I'm gonna connect to the printer. Okay, so that was so fast. Print something, of course, and I'm not sure if you can see, but you can hear. Wait, okay, now. Okay, you don't even hear it, but that's it. All right, good. So let's move on to slides. To summarize, we went through some devices, different protocols, even IoT devices like Z-Wave devices. Ah, come on. It's detecting the motion and then it turned on the light. And we also have seen different opportunity to connect the devices via web USB, web Bluetooth, web NFC. And that makes web so interesting, at least to me. So with Progressive Web App and all the APIs, web can do that. It's so capable. All the resources that I used for this talk is already here on my slide. And don't worry, I have a small short link for you and also this QR code. If you need, you can take a picture and then have a look at the slides. They are always going to be online. All the sample codes, demos, everything is there. You can have a look. With that said, thank you very much. If you have any question, I think if you have time, I can take it. 10 more minutes. That's absolutely fantastic.
You can show one more
I don't want to show anything. Everything was working. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's try it out. Okay, I can.
Thank you for the presentation. It was awesome. And I have a question about gateway. How do you send some automation rules to the gateway? So once you disconnect your phone from the local network and you go to the, I don't know, somewhere, how it can, for example, turn off the light and send you a notification via internet, I guess?
No, there is no internet here. That's why I told you that the gateway needs to have a local network if you want to connect it. So, but how does it work? That is a gateway, and this is an IoT device, right? So these are after you set up this device inside this gateway, and it's already set up, they start communicating. So the gateway, if it's on, the gateway knows about the devices around, even though you are not in the home or you're not around this network. But they know each other because they communicate via different protocols. They communicate via Z-Wave or like lower level IoT protocols, right? So if you set up some rules, that doesn't necessarily need to be actually on internet because the gateway is here and the devices are around, and then they can start communicating. And the gateway, if something happening with the device, it gets notified, and then it probably runs those rules to do something, right? But if you want to control the device yourself via this application, then again, you don't need internet, but you need to be in the same network as this gateway. And that is the reason you needed to set up Wi-Fi for this gateway, right? So when you get to when you come back home and you connect to the home's Wi-Fi, then you already are connected to the gateway too, so then you can start controlling the device. That is how it works.
Am I correct that I cannot control the gateway through the internet, so then the gateway can control other devices?
If you want, there are some applications that you can make them live, but and then some commands, and the commands should, and then you need to have internet on the gateway, and then listen to the commands that are coming from cloud, and then do something. You can do that. But this this gateway is not supposed to be, well, you can do that with that too. Okay. But it's not already built in, so you need to do something yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, thank you for your presentation. One simple thing, could you provide some information about enterprise, maybe some companies who did it in enterprise?
Yes. One company, which probably I need to demonstrate, is this company, Nordic Semiconductor. They are producing different IoT devices, including this one. This is Nordic Thingy 52, and it does quite a lot of things. So it has a lot of sensors inside, and it works via web Bluetooth. And quite reliable. Let's have a look at that, see how it works. So, PWA, splash screen, nice. Web Bluetooth, and I'm gonna go to Nordic Thingy. So my Nordic Thingy is on, gonna connect it. Like I said, this has multiple sensors. So I get the temperature, for instance, in the room, quite pleasant. And pressure, humidity, and color, and then I can do something with that. For instance, I can change this color to something else. Yeah, you see the color is changing. Or, yeah, it can do something else, like blinking, or one-off, or breeze, you know. And also, it has a button. You see the dinosaur, famous dinosaur? So when I press, what does that mean? The device is reliable, it's pretty reliable, and that means you can get the sensor and you can wrap it around some nice boxes and then do something with that. Like whenever I press this, turn off all the lights here, for instance, or do something, I don't know, whatever action you like. And this also has multiple motion detection. So the tab, so you can also walk with this, it can count your steps. So to answer your question, I know some companies that they are building IoT devices, including my company. I'm working in an IoT company. But we are not actually using web Bluetooth and web technology that often. But with these new APIs and the way that now they are so stable, especially Bluetooth API, so it makes it so easy for us to go on the web instead of going native and then creating for different platforms different things. You know, it's easier to write one code and run it everywhere consistently. That is the point, and that is very important, I guess. Web USB is also very stable, but Web NFC, like I said, it has changed last night. So, but it is good. You go and start with it because you feel what you need later. The community is quite active, like Kenneth is quite active. If you found some bug or if you found anything that is not very nice with the API, I actually pinged him today morning. I said, hey, this part is so I don't understand it, so can you maybe think about it? You know, or the examples, Kenneth, can you make them a little bit clear? So, you know, it's good to talk with these community and make these APIs pleasant when we want to work with, you know? So we need to start. We need to start and experiment with that, I guess.
Any more?
And by the way, I showed another demo.
Thank you for your presentation. If we compare this connection with native connection, can we say that can we compare this in productivity?
What do you mean native connection?
I mean, if I use native application, yeah.
You mean a native application, like
yes.
iOS and Android application?
Yeah. What will work the best in the background?
To my knowledge, as far as I know, what we get via this JavaScript API and we can communicate, it's a bit limited yet, but quite okay to do many things, even complex. But since I don't have that much experience with native connectivity, I can't answer this question very well. But what I can tell you is that these APIs, at least the first two are as stable as where you can use it on native. Because now that is actually what we are doing in our company. We have a native apps, and these APIs working perfectly, no problem, even on web.
Thank you.
Question?
Any more?
I can check my heart rate. All right. Question?
Thank you for a great presentation. A few years ago, I saw already a presentation about Bluetooth APIs, especially about beacons, so-called beacons. As I understand, beacon is a kind of a gateway with programmed.
That's why my heart rate is going up. Can we talk about beacon after the talk?
Okay.
Because
yes.
you open up a question, which needs explanation for maybe an hour.
Thank you.
It's coming back.
So, any more? So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.